this very important workshop, Dr. Astos Petrola, my old friends, Dr. Jaya Glabe, Dr. Pathak, faculty members of this department of Earth Sciences, and participants from the different parts of India. I am extremely happy and feel honored to be associated with this workshop, not because he has invited me as a chief guest, but because this subject is very close to my heart. And long back we have started, more than 20-25 years back, the use of AI in Earth system science. The topic of this research is today very, very relevant because the AI is blooming. But look at this progress and evolution of this AI. We have started thinking very primitive in 1950. It was the initial stage when people are trying to think that can we do like this. Then 1970, some of the algorithm has been written in very small piece and papers and tried to solving a very gentle problem, I can say, not a complex one. Then 80, some of this work has been started. I'm not talking in the terms of earth science, I'm talking about the AI applications in the different fields of the engineering, science, technology, and even in the humanities. But in 2000, it has taken a step forward where people have using left and right the AI, particularly in the field of engineering first, and then later on with the other disciplines. We have also started working when I was in IIT BHU as a faculty, and my first PhD student, I was too much worried because you all faculty feels that once you have the first PhD, it is the second PhD of supervisor. So I was also curious to do something which is very special so that the thesis can be easily recommended without any comment. And we have introduced this subject in very, very primitive manner, using in the geoscience how the petrography can control the geomechanical properties of the material or rock type. And that was the first paper from the India by any of the geoscientists, and it will be one of the highly cited paper once those who are working in this area they consider at the base paper. But look at this time and that time. Our error was 17%, 17. Even though the one of these best journal of the rock mechanics has accepted that paper. If I can think the same way today, if I can send, they will even not feel happy to acknowledge my paper or anybody, because 17% is too high. Now we are coming to this era when the prediction level has been reached up to 2 to 3%. In the many area, geoscientists are very famous for producing data. A lot of data has been generated. Look at this, any field, and you are fortunate enough in the BHU, you have the all fields experts are there. You are generating a huge volume of data. There are certain hidden relations which are not visible or reflected through this ordinary thinking or by mathematical expression. But it doesn't mean that it is not existed. There are something which is hidden that will exist. That will be the important. Just I can give you one example. Today, many of you are fond of cricket. You have seen that the coin has been put up and then people say this captain has lost, this captain has won the toss. It looks very simple phenomena that one can just put a coin in the air and it will be dropping down. Our head and tail can decide who will be the winning and who will be the losing. Can you think about this AI, how one can predict the AI methods, this how that one can win the toss or lose the toss. Because there are so many things which are associated, which has been not considered at all by the who is just like putting the coin on the air or with the surrounding people. What is the effect of this air velocity? What is the moisture content? What is the temperature? What is the velocity by which he has coined? All these parameters control the winning and losing of the toss. Not as simply it is just like putting on the air and getting something down. These parameters have never comes in our mind why a person can lose and why a person can win. So these are the parameters which are hidden in this. And now this AI and the quantum computation that has reached in a stage where our prediction level is 100%. So these are the problems when you have the large volume of data, how one can establish certain relation and predict for the futuristic. In the very primitive time, the AI has been started by the back propagation feed-forward method. In back propagation feed-forward method, only you have a certain amount of data. You can try to learn the pattern of the data, and based on that, try to find out certain other properties. Just like if I can say, if you can give me the petrography, I will tell you what is the strength of this material. Many people will not believe, because petrography is done by most of this institution, majority of the institution of the earth science. It is a basic requirement. But can a basic parameter can give a very, very valuable other parameter for the development of the society, need of the society. That has to be understood once you can understand how the AI can be used, or Python is just like accelerating the things in the faster way, because there is three things: the volume of the data, variability in the data, and velocity of the data. These three we control the all big data science. Once you have the three things, how you are sure to get some output which is not linearly related, not non-linearly related. There is no compromise with the data, that I can ignore certain data with the outlier or inlier. There are many things in correlation one can do. And we can say that this correlation is coming about more than 6 or 0.7, 0.8, then it is a good correlation. But sometimes it may not be a good correlation, because it all depends upon what is on x and y axis and which method of the correlation you are using. If you can give somebody else from your data, he may bring certain higher level of the correlation because of changing the tools and the techniques. So AI is a very, very valuable tool which can give you the futuristic prediction based on the past learning things. This is memory based, memory and recall. Memory and recall means if you have a small kid in your house, you never treat them, a person who is coming, whether he is your uncle or he is your grandfather or he is your friend or he is your brother or a sister. But because of the things are happening around him, he tried to establish a correlation using AI in their mind, that if a person of this age or this height, I call him as a sister or the brother. If a person of this kind of the age and looking this kind of this visibility of his face, I can call it the uncle. If a person is like this, I can call it the grandfather. You never thought to classify them that this is the age for the brother, this is the age for the uncle, it is the age for the grandfather. But how he learned? It is all recall and memory, and it is the basic things to understand the AI. Whatever the data you have, if data, you can extract the information out of that, then the data is valuable. If you are putting in your Almira a volume of data, it is just like a waste of this energy and your effort. So you always think that what will be the questions which you are putting in front of the AI, whether it is relevant or not relevant. I have seen in the geochemistry a huge volume of data. But can anyone say that 30 analysis is appropriate, 20 analysis is appropriate, 100 analysis is appropriate? What is the number of this data which will be giving you appropriate and accurate information about the rock geochemistry or the whole rock geochemistry? Because we have seen the different people have the different sets of the data to arrive a similar kind of the information at the end, or similar kind of the conclusion at the end. So if you are using a very voluminous data, because you have the machine and you have the resources, those who have been lacking of the resource, they can bring out using the AI with the similar kind of the information and conclusion if they know AI and this method. So this is the things where the small number of data can also give a very, very valuable information, and sometimes you are missing once you have the larger volume of data. So these are the things which you will try to learn from the AI. AI has coming up very nicely in any field of the science and technology, and one of the best users are the share market people. In the share market, what will be the trend? Which share will be going to give higher return, which will be going to give a lesser return? These all AI and ML techniques are going to be the use, and people are using it to extract this information and pass on to you. People say how one can say, but it can be said. There are technology. When I was here, there was a bladder stove. A lot of operations are going on. Once I met Professor U.S. Tripathi, who was this urology department that time. U.S. Divedi, yes. And Professor P.V. Singh. And he discussed a lot because one of the MCH students wanted to know what is the strength of that kidney stone. So we thought your sample is so small that we cannot accommodate in our machine, because this machine having the larger samples one can test. But he told me anyhow you can find some solution, then we have in cast in the wax and try to put this pressure and try to see the strength. But ultimately, what is the use of, once you know the strength, what is the use? People think that my MCA thesis will complete because some new information of the geomechanical property I am going to put as a bioscience scientist. So it is enough. But once you have started generating the data, I asked both the professor that do you want to a decorative data or you want some data which can be used in the future for the society? Both of them said, we have never thought like that, because you thought this is the new things which are coming. What we did, after all their strength and the people age, their physical fitness, all the parameters can be put together, and we have used the AI to predict the shock waves, because there is two methods to break this stone. Either you can put certain kind of the sonic waves from without entering into the system, or one can enter in the system and then break it. So now the non-invasive system will be very good, because people don't want any intervention in this, foreign intervention in this human body. And then we have tested this, and there is a myth that the people who is strong, he should be given more shock, without considering, because you are not going to break the man, you are going to break the stone. So a person who looks weaker, the strength of this stone will be higher because of this food habit and the surrounding and what kind of this environment he has. So this was the misconception which has been removed, that okay, the health of the human will be not important, the health of this stone will be important, and based on that we have predicted some shock for this some data, and they have tried to find out what is this appropriate shock should be given, and then we have seen that this stone has been broken without any hindrance and people get relief. And that system was worked several years. I think both has been retired or left, I am not aware. And then they are very curious because doctors, they are full of patients, so they don't have time to thinking about the publication. But I was thinking that I have done this work. If I can say someone that I have done this work, what is the proof? After some time, both the professor will left this institute and nobody will recognize me, even they will not allow to enter me. Then we have prepared a paper. I have also helped him a lot. And then we have sent it to British urology, one of the very, very prestigious journal and oldest journal in the field of the urology. And that paper has been accepted. After that, we have a series of papers from there. So this is the things you can think that how this medical science has come into the earth science. But you are dealing with the earth material. That is also a material. It has a certain chemical composition, certain structures, certain type of, you can say, the texture. That has to be taken into account. So now, this is the reason how this AI has brought many people in one platform to work together with a different field and we find out. So this work of this AI or Python in the field of the earth science is very, very important because many a times you have the duplicacy of data. A lot of data generated in a particular field from last 50 years, 70 years, and every time people will come with the small information and they say this is the new information, so we are not able to accept it, or sometimes they reject it. So AI is remove this duplication. Because what is the possible that can be predicted without any test. You have a certain test data, after that there is no need to test again. Do this, all these resources waste. You can just futuristic way, you can explain the things. And I think in any field, people don't forget that it is only applicable to the field of the engineering geology. It is not like that. People from this paleontology have used this AI and they predict the evolution. Dr. A.D. Singh, I think you have attempted. Yeah. So, climatology, natural disaster, oceanography, petrology, any field, you can use this because it is a tool. It is a nothing, you can say this estimate. It is a tool which can be used based on you have to define and design your research problem. So if you have any problem in your mind, then it can be structured in such a way that it can give you some new information. So this is a very, you can say this fast, accurate, appropriate technique to resolve so many outstanding questions in the earth science. Just like I will just give you one example. Nuclear waste disposal is very close to the earth science people, those who are working in nuclear fuel. You have this uranium or thorium, you can start the nuclear waste plant, the nuclear power generation plant, but your plant will be not going to be approved till you don't have a scientific disposal system. If you have a disposal system, you need a certain trend of this information because you have to prove that in 100 years, its temperature should not exceed 63 degrees of the surrounding. Now, there is no 100 years information and data, even in the worldwide. What you will do? If you want to start a nuclear power station, the same times you have to propose a safe disposal of the spent fuel, which cannot generate or make this temperature higher in the surrounding. Then this, we have 20 years data, some the Canadian, some French, some the 20-year, 25-year data. So based on this data, one can predict that what will happen to the 100 years in the terms of the temperature. And then AI can be used, and we can say that in 100 years this is the plus minus 5% or 10%, this will be the fluctuation in the temperature, and this argument will be accepted by the regulatory committee, and then they will say, okay, your disposal pit is safe and secure, you can go ahead. Many a times you have seen in a bridge, it has been written that this much load can only pass, big trucks are not going to pass. How one can predict the life of a bridge? It is not a linear relation. It is not a logarithmic relation. It is not a semi-log relation. So which empirical equation you can use which can provide you the life of a particular bridge? So normally, based on our data and the load given on that, people are finding out the bearing capacity of the pillars. And these pillars will sustain at what time, at what load. And based on that correlation and prediction, one can say we are making this bridge for the 100 years, we are making the bridge for the 50 years, we are making this building for the 100 years, like that. So all these buildings activity, all these infrastructure activity, there is some possibility of use of the AI and ML technique to predict and make the people life easy. Now people are talking all across this world about the CO2 sequestration, climate life. It is a burning problem. The whole world is facing, changing the pattern of this, you can see the climate, temperature variation. All these things, how this large volume of data can be used to predict that in the particularly what will happen to the January 15 to the Banaras or even Banaras Hindu University. One can find out accurately with plus minus 2% of the error, and people have predicted. So these are the possibility, these are the force behind the AI, and this variability I can say, but variability can only work once you have the adaptability. You can adopt this tool without any fear. And one thing I can confess and say very clearly, geoscientists are afraid of mathematical equations. Majority of them. Once there is a mathematics, they will afraid what will happen. You should not afraid of that. Try to learn the simple mathematics, and that mathematics will help you to progress in the newer fields. Because you know, the quantum computation has the 6,000 crore rupees kitty by the government of India. If anyone, these are scientists, is working on this AI and this quantum modeling, quantum computation, certainly he will get a benefit. He can get this a larger share for solving some of the problem. But yes, don't use as a tool without knowing, because people say there are many questions earlier, now it has been resolved, that if you are giving a certain input parameters, you are putting certain hidden layers and you are getting output, but you don't know what will happening in the two boxes, what kind of the activities are going on, what kind of interactions are going on. But now this algorithm has been already explained. People know that how it will be going on, and there are certain things which can go. So you can use in your particular field by the young researchers who came from all across this India. You can use this tool, and I think I will request Honorable Director and the Head of Department that because of you have a large data, larger departments, outstanding researchers. DST is thinking to establish a center of AI and ML at least 3 to 4 places in India with 25 crores of this money available with them. If anyone can try, I think BHU will be the appropriate place in terms of this human resource, in terms of the data, in terms of, you can say, this other interdisciplinary work. This is the best place. So, one can use this tool in the larger perspective and try to find out something which is not visible, which is not correlated by your simple looking through this data and some information you can get. I remember there was a conflict between Bose and the Einstein. Einstein had proposed something without giving the experimental facts. Bohr had objected that and given certain kind of this his own quantum physics parameters that it is not fit.